Welcome everyone to another episode of Time for Mental Health. I'm your host Fabian. Joined with me today is Viaano, founder of Huddle Humans, and Keegan, producer of the show. Before anything else, do you notice anything different in the background that we have? We have like a nice, canvas on the wall. Actually, we have our new, very own place for our podcast where we can film and we can better accommodate our guests and create better content for you guys. Woo! Are you guys like excited? No?
Woo! Donated by Fabian, our host.
No. So, actually, very big thanks to Benjamin, if you're watching this. Yeah, he helped us out a lot in the lightings and camera and all that setup.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks.
Time for Mental Health is a podcast where we aim to normalize the sharing of mental health experiences. Today's topic will be covering about communication of feelings. How do we communicate our feelings? What is effective communication? And we also look at some online tips that we will discuss whether they're actually useful in our opinion, and we also share some of our experiences. Without further ado, let's go ahead and ask the question to the table. What is effective communication?
I think coming from me, on a whole, I think effective communication is basically getting your point across to the other party in the most seamless way possible. But of course, there's a lot of nuances there, but we can talk more about it as the podcast unravels itself.
Right.
I mean, I don't mirror what Viaano said, but he said
it really well.
He said everything that I want to say.
Right. So, actually, effective communication, as what you mentioned, is exactly what we all think. It can be actually difficult to express like effective communications to different categories. I would say, like, there's a cultural difference sometimes. When you try to speak to, let's say, foreigners, we have our own accent. We are Singaporeans. We have this
Singlish.
Singlish, yes, Singlish. And we also have this thing like we have also like a generational gap sometimes. Like in Singapore, do you find yourselves not being able to like effectively communicate to your parents or maybe elderly? Let's say you're going, like Orchard, there's this ice cream shop uncle. It's like very hard to talk to him sometimes. Not that it's bad, it's very hard to get your point across.
The one on the roadside, selling ice cream from the like what do you call it? It's attached to the bike. What do you call that kind of thing?
You mean that $1 ice cream?
The one, the biscuit lah.
Yeah, the $1 ice cream.
Yeah,
it's always $1, right?
Yeah.
Are you talking about that uncle?
Yeah.
Shout out to the uncle.
The best.
The best.
Yeah, it's kind of like Singaporean. I think it'll be more difficult if it's a foreigner to understand. I mean, there's English, there's Singlish mixed into it, then there's dialect mixed into it, then there's a different language mixed to it. Yeah, it's like, I think how Keegan orders Cai Fan.
I ordered Cai Fan and like Chinese quite bad.
Yeah.
And most of those Cai Fan store are those mixed vegetable rice store. Right? The aunties there mainly speak Chinese. So, I do the typical 我要这个那个淋咖喱汁
That's standard.
Go. Yeah, that's it.
Let's do a vote here. Who is the most effective communicator amongst the three of us? Wow, cheater. This guy point two hands. Okay, go ahead. Explain. Because you are the only one that's different from us, right? So, can I explain your point?
Okay, first and foremost, communication. People communicate in different ways. Everyone's communication style is different, right? I will put both of you on equal.
Okay.
On an equal level.
Both beneath you.
No, that's not what I said. But what I was trying to say is that both Fabian and Keegan communicate through their own styles, and they both get their message across effectively, straight to the point. Except when I ask, what food do you want to eat? You guys behave like I don't want to say. But
What do you mean?
Keegan's the worst about him.
What do you mean?
you guys don't know what to eat. I think everyone faces this problem. I think myself as well. Nah, I'm just kidding. That was just a joke. That was just a joke.
I know what I want to eat, bro.
Keegan's
Nah,
the
Keegan,
better.
yeah. No, but seriously.
Ramen
yeah.
right now. Ramen.
Yeah.
The reason I chose Viaano was cause I think among us is the most the best at talking. Because
I got new
because he's been in Australia for 3 years, was it?
Yeah.
So in order for a Singaporean to get his message across to foreigners or people with different accents, right? You have to change the way you talk. That's what I noticed from being in Melbourne for 2-3 months. Is that if I were to speak to them, right, to the Australian people, how I would speak to fellow Singaporeans, it's very hard for them to catch what I'm saying,
True, yeah, true.
Because Singaporeans, we tend to slur our words together. Maybe just me, but
Maybe too fast sometimes. as well.
we go quite fast and we don't really articulate some of the words that we're saying. The whole conversation is it's one pitch and
And one monotonous.
yeah. Okay, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me.
No, it's not you. This is actually a big feedback that I got from Australia, from people in Australia when they come across Singaporeans, right? They said, this is what they say. I have to put it out there very clearly. What they say is that Singaporeans speak too fast. So that is the thing that I got, the message that I got across from them. And ever since I was in Australia, I tried to take a step back and slow down, because I know that we speak really fast. I know for a fact I have spoke really, really fast in the past. And I know that because my mom and my sister, and my family members, they speak really fast. So I took it as a lesson to slow down. I still speak fast from time to time because, when I'm with my friends, I become very Singaporean. But
Singaporeans are all mumble rappers.
mumble rappers. That's the
Fast and you can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Enough of hearing us talk about what communication is. Let's find out from the internet what kind of tips they have for us.
Of course.
So right now with me, I have my phone.
Internet knows best.
Yeah. Okay, the first point. I actually went to a website, so they give me 10 tips. I'm just gonna pick 3.
Okay.
First point, listen.
I'm not cognizant of the fact that that it's important to listen. I think a lot of people like to talk about themselves, which is not a bad thing. At the end of the day, we are, like what I've mentioned before, is that we're all protagonists of our life. We are the main characters of our life. And I guess the issue really comes when it becomes so dominant, in the sense that the whole conversations is just one-sided. And the problem then lies when the other party feels uncomfortable because he or she is not included in the conversation because of this dominance of that one person that's always talking about himself and self. Like I said, it's not a bad thing, but it's good to balance out the conversation so all parties would feel included. So that's for me. Listening is very, very, very important.
Our next point will be body language matters. Okay, for me, I think body language really matters a lot. From what I studied, I think recently I took a module on non-verbal behaviors. So the only preaching, all I can take from that module was a few things: posture, tone and style of voice, which Keegan mentioned earlier, and gaze, appropriate eye contact. Yeah, posture always upright. One of the 12 laws from Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. Have you heard of SOLAR?
No, not really.
Okay, so in counseling modules, they usually teach this acronym called SOLAR, which is very important, especially when counselors are dealing or are engaging with clients. So S stands for sit squarely. So a perfect example will be Fabian and Keegan, their position right now. So they are sitting squarely at an angle. So because if you're sitting opposite each other, it can become too confrontational, some sort of like an interview.
Like interrogation.
Yeah, like an interrogation, and you wouldn't want that when you're talking with like a client or like a friend or something that is a casual conversation. You get what I mean? To put the person at ease. This is the best position. Right? O stands for open posture. So like what Fabian has mentioned earlier, so sit upright. And
Don't fold your arms.
yeah, like what? Yeah. So don't fold your arms on like you may feel like the conversation, because you fold your arms, you might feel more reserved. You want to back out of the conversation. It doesn't feel very open to the other party.
Is crossing the leg considered the same thing?
I wouldn't say it's as bad as folding the arms. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's as bad. I find crossing leg is okay, but that's my personal opinion.
So what's the L?
Oh, L stands for lean forward. So when you lean forward and talk to the other party, it shows that you're engaged in a conversation. You're interested in what the other party is saying. It's just that interest to engage in the conversation, which is very important. E stands for eye contact, which is what Fabian has mentioned. All these very small expressions, the little thing counts. It shows that you're engaged with the other party in the conversation. You're interested to hear what the other party wants to talk about.
Right.
100%. It's very vital. The last one stands for R, which is relaxed posture. So basically just feeling relaxed and making it a very casual conversation, inviting that person to be casual and relaxed with you. So you're able to have a decent and adequate conversation that makes both parties feel at ease. Right.
So for our last point that we got from the internet, it's called think before you speak. So Keegan, what are your thoughts on that phrase?
I mean, a very wise tip from the internet.
As usual.
No, because it's so true,
It must be from Google though, not Bing.
Not Bing. No, cut that out. Microsoft, we support Bing. So anyways, think before you speak. Very important. There have been so many times, right? So many past experiences where I got caught up in the heat of the moment. Like it could be a debate, it could have been an argument or what. And I said things that I still regret till today.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so, and words can hurt, like, not just insults, like other things like, things that you didn't even mean to say. You were just angry at that point of time. So if only I knew to think before I speak, and I knew to control myself, maybe things would have played out differently.
Just to lighten things up, I'd like to share another experience of mine about my ineffective communication. Yeah. As actually the audience might not know, but for Keegan and Viaano, I think they know very well the foolishness of my language. When I'm speaking with my other friends, another group of friends, we tend to have this grammatical sentence structure which is completely fumbled around. Everything is in verse. I won't explain it anymore. Yeah, I won't explain it anymore. But Keegan has a first-hand experience of it.
Give an example. No, just do it.
You understood me? Yeah, it actually makes sense, but yeah.
The verb, the noun.
No, it does.
Actually, it's something called like synthetic coordination. You can find it up.
Okay, that's enough.
So anyways, when we first started out creating this language, creating this grammar.
Go on.
Yeah. Go on.
We basically like spoke amongst our friends using this weird grammatical structure, and from time to time, like Keegan would come along or Viaano or maybe some other person, and when they come along and they start speaking to us, and I sometimes like get too ahead, I never think, and I continue the same grammatical structure, and it gets weird, because Keegan will be sitting there, he's just like, what are you guys saying? Yeah, how do you feel? Do you feel like I think Keegan mentioned just now he felt excluded from the conversation.
I feel like I'm just an unlucky person that happened to be caught up in that situation.
No, I think it's interesting. I mean, what the point they brought out, I think people speak to different groups of people in a language that all the parties are comfortable with, and it's interesting because you kind of understand each other, right? Yeah. Through that language.
I think it's quite normal actually.
Yeah.
Because like when I'm over at like my relative's house and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The way I speak is very different from how I speak with my friends. It's like there's a like subconscious filter on my mouth. That there are some things that will never come out of my mouth when I'm with my relatives. But when I'm with my friends, right, it's like the words just come out like non-stop.
Understandable. The dynamics.
We all know what kind of words, huh?
Yeah, we all know.
Yeah.
I think one experience was that, I was having a chat with my friend. We were concluding the night. We were saying our goodbyes to each other. And then, the usual thing I would say, good night, have a safe trip home. Take care. But my friend misinterpreted it as take cake. Because English is not her first language. So she didn't went to buy a cake because that made me happy. I don't mind a cake, but I just felt it was really funny because take cake, and then that was what we have been saying every time we said every time we say our goodbyes to each other. Subsequently from there on, and I thought, wow, you're taking a positive out of a negative, right? It actually bonded us, and we grew closer because of all these small little nuances. And I think it's a special thing to me. I mean, sometimes ineffective communication can lead to positive outcomes.
True.
Yeah. Not necessarily always negative. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my language has definitely bonded my friends together.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Some of your friends.
So wrapping things up, some have gotten quite flamed at, while others have gotten good positive outcomes.
Yep.
Yeah. And with that, we have come to the end of our show for today's episode. I'd like to thank the place. I mean, it's a really nice place, right? We have plants now.
Thank you, Plan.
Yeah, we have this whole
Thank you, Flo.
map.
Yeah, this map is basically what Huddle Humans is all about. Like, Huddle Humans is a global community, right? So every one of you out there from all parts of the world. Okay, your country is somewhere here, unless you're out of this world.
If it's not there, we'll draw it.
Where are we?
Yeah, over here.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. We're here.
Okay. Yep. Do remember to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Oh, we have so many things. Recently have an event also. We was at Red Box. Yeah. It's quite a fun event.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it in subsequent episode. I think there'll be an exclusive video on it. Yeah, in time to come. Yeah.
So with that, that'll be the end of the episode. Episode 9 of Time for Mental Health. See you guys in the next episode. Ciao.
Take care.
Bye.
Take cake.
Take cake.
Take cake, guys.